Ew, tapping in real quick. Something light, nothing major. Peace and blessings and all that. You know what I'm talking about? Hopefully everybody's Thursday has kicked off properly. And you know, your week is going according to plan. You know what I'm talking about? You're gonna have to forgive me. This little motherfucker right here, they all slumped out right now. But this one right here, Rocky, is just a bit too excited when he greets me in the morning times while I'm still laying down in my rack. And it is what it is. That's what this little, pink spot on the tip of my nose of. Motherfucker broke the skin with that one about a year or so ago and left me with a little fucking pink Rudolph dot on the tip of my nose that I just gotta deal with. This motherfucker, he know what I'm talking about. He going, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about? He got me though. But that ain't even what all this is about, man. You know what I mean? I got the little, this new flick on Amazon Prime with The Rock and old boy and them, Red One or whatever, some new Christmas movie. For what it's worth, I'm just checking it out while I burn it down and fuck around with this prize picks, man. I'm giving this prize picks a little swirl. Ain't that how the boy Kev said it in Home Alone? I'll give it a swirl. Giving the prize picks a little swirl. You know what I'm talking about? And we gonna see where the dice lay, man. You know what I'm talking about? I think that Josephine Knutson, however you say Josephine's name, 60.5 significant strikes, she's gonna land more than that. Just about everything that young girl throws is a significant strike. She got some pop in her shots, man. But she's going to definitely throw more than 60.5 significant strikes. And if she doesn't, that means old girl could not withstand the damage and she finds the finish inside the distance, and I wouldn't be mad about losing it like that. But I personally do believe that, hey yo, Dana White's motherfucking slap fighting is like everywhere now, right? They got the Bull Rock, whoever he's playing in his Christmas movie. And he's fucking, what's this, Cranston? I don't know what this dude's name is. They having a fucking slap battle. Boy, oh boy, everybody doing that shit now, huh, man? Anyway, back to it. Josephine, 60.5 significant strikes, more. You know what I'm talking about? Miranda Maverick, 49.5 significant strikes, less. You know what I'm talking about? She's, more of a pity pat. And when she gets in, she's not really like the shots that she's landing. They're not damaging shots. They're not significant shots. Like she'll rack up over 100 strikes, but she'll only rack up, around 30, sometimes 20, 30, 40. She can get into the 50s, but more times than not, her significant strike count is going to be lower than 50. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm gonna take it to be lower than 49.5 against Jamie Lynn. You know what I'm talking about? As well as I'm gonna take Miranda's 2.5 takedowns to be less against Jamie Lynn. You know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna take Sean Woodson's significant strikes to be more than 72.5. I do believe this fight goes the distance. I do believe we are going to get a split majority or unanimous decision. We will not see no finishes, in my personal opinion. You know what I'm talking about? If we do, possibly Fernando caught, clipped, and disconnected, old boy from his consciousness, man. But we can't lie that this Zalal, I said Zalal. Zalal, right? Zalal, what the fuck is his name? Yusef Zalal? Yusef Zalal and some of the other wins, you know what I'm talking about, are, to be respected, for lack of a better word that I can't think of right now. And it is a fight. Fernando does possess that pop. You know what I mean? He cracked and knocked my boy Julian Erosa the fuck out, so it's not outside the realm of possibility that he could crack and knock the fuck out Sean Woodson or hop on him for a club and sub type situation. But if that does happen, I do believe it's going to be later on in the fight, man. So 72.5 significant strikes. I like that, man. I think this is going to be a high volume, high output, you know, for what it's worth, man. I also like Daniel Marcos, 12.5 minutes of fighting time. I like it to go over, man, because even if Adrian Yanez does win this fight, I don't think he wins the fight and takes the boy's O away from him via, you know, clipping him and disconnecting him from his consciousness. Maybe he cracks him, maybe he wobbles him, maybe he hurts him and puts him into a compromisable position on his feet. You understand what I'm saying to you? But I do believe that Marcos is smart enough, sharp enough to stay out the way and durable enough that when he does get caught, to still be in the game. You understand what I'm saying to you? So if Marcos loses this fight, you know what I mean? I believe he loses this fight, you know, via a decision, majority split or unanimous. You know what I'm talking about? So I like the over 12.5 minutes. I like the under 8.5 minutes for Sterling, the boy Navajo Sterling. I really like that. You know what I'm talking about? Based off of the fact that I'm just not high on Tuco Tacos, however you say Brendan Allen's homie's name. I'm not high on him. As far as an individual and a human being, he's solid. You know what I'm talking about? But you know, I mean, I say that from what I've been privy to, you know, as far as what I've seen of him, as far as being a human being. But a fighter, you can miss me with that shit at this level, in my personal opinion. He's gonna get knocked the fuck out. Not to say that motherfucking Navajo Sterling, or however you say old boy's name, has an extremely high ceiling in this division, because he will be properly matched up with opposition that will be able to implement an all-around body of mixed martial arts on him. I just don't think that's Saturday. I don't think that's Tucos, Brendan Allen's homie. You know what I'm talking about? I think he's going to go to sleep, man, in brutal fashion, viciously. I think old boy's going to clip him and disconnect him from his consciousness, man. You know what I'm talking about? And I think it's going to happen inside the first 8.5 minutes. So you can give me that 8.5 minutes of fighting time less for Sterling, that 12.5 minutes of fighting time more for Marcos. You can give me that 60.5 significant strikes landed more for Josephine, that 49.5 significant strikes landed less by Miranda. You can give me 72.5 significant strikes landed more by Sean, and you can give me the 2.5 takedowns secured less by Miranda. I think Jamie Lynn is going to prove to be a bit problematic for Miranda Maverick. You understand what I'm saying to you? And I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'll be redundant, my friends. You know what I'm talking about? We cannot act like that, you know, Miranda Maverick did not also have the same youth advantage, if not more of a youth advantage, over the last Canadian young lady she was favored to beat and took a loss to via decision. You understand what I'm saying to you? Jasmine. Now, I'm not saying Jasmine's Jamie or Jamie's Jasmine. One thing has nothing to do with the other, but it's all worth consideration. Jasmine was another lady from over there, you know, another Canadian young lady who Miranda had a youth advantage on, and who Miranda had an experience advantage on, as far as Miranda had faced a higher level of opposition as of yet, you know, until her and Jasmine met. That did not seem to matter. Jasmine seemed to get her absolutely everywhere and do what she needed to do to secure that bag with a dog tag. You know what I'm talking about? It is what it is, man. I only say all that to say this, man. She had the same, if not more of a youth advantage over Jasmine, and she had also had the advantage of, you know, having had faced the higher level of opposition as of yet prior to fighting Jasmine. You know what I'm talking about? That shit didn't matter. I don't necessarily know that shit's gonna matter on Saturday night when she fights Jamie Lynn. Yes, she has a youth advantage over her. Yes, she has the advantage of having had fight the higher level of motherfucking words is all over the place, ain't they? Having had fight the higher level of opposition as of yet. You understand what I'm saying to you? One thing has nothing to do with the other, but it is all worth consideration, man. We will see, to be determined. I only say all that to say that's why I like these props. I like the Miranda Maverick 2.5 takedowns to be less. I don't believe she's going to lock up and secure 2 or more takedowns on Jamie Lynn. You understand what I'm saying to you? She might get reversed and find herself being taken down, man. To be determined. And I do not believe she's going to be able to land more than 49.5 significant strikes over the course of 15 minutes in this fight with Jamie Lynn. You understand what I'm saying to you? She does not normally land a high amount of significant strikes over the course of a fight, you know, on a regular basis anyway. She'll get upwards of 100 strikes, but they won't be anywhere near, the significance will be low. High 20s, mid 30s, 40s. She can creep up into the 50s, but I don't see it happening in this matchup, man. So that's why I'm solid on that, man. I like that, man. I would have liked to say, you know what I'm talking about? I kind of like the Philippe. I kind of like Philippe, man. I kind of like Philippe under, what is that, 45? I think it was the 45 that kind of bothered me, though. Like, if Philippe was 49.5, then I would have liked Philippe Lima 49.5 significant strikes to go under, to be less. You understand what I'm saying to you? But with it being 45.5, that kind of fucks with me. It fucks with me. Even if it was like 47.5, I would maybe say under. It's that 45, 46, like 47. I feel like he might get in that range. You understand what I'm saying to you as far as significant strikes are concerned, man? Like, there's not going to be a lot of significant strikes landed from either side. This is a Miles Johns fight, regardless of how anybody feels about Miles Johns, man, and regardless of how anybody feels about this current matchup. You understand what I'm saying to you? People have been down on Miles Johns before. There's been a lot of times where I was on the side of Miles Johns and everybody else wasn't necessarily on the side of Miles Johns. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of people were on the side of, I believe, Douglas De Silva Andrade or whoever it was when he fought. Like, you know what I mean? It's been some people that been, when Miles has been matched up with him, people have been down on Miles. You understand what I'm saying to you? But Miles still comes in there and proves to be the Miles Johns that some of us know Miles Johns to be. An individual that can come in there and take an individual who may be higher, on the output and the volume side of things and slow him right down with him. Like, he's not a high volume output striker at all, Miles Johns. You understand what I'm saying to you? But he tends to be able to slow his opponent's volume down as well when he implements his all-around body of work. So at the end of the fight, at the end of the night, those, significant strikes and all-around strikes are relatively close as far as output and volume are concerned. You might edge him, but he normally edges you everywhere else with the all-around body of work by securing the takedowns and whatnot, man. Like, this fight is going to be good, man. This fight is going to be a banger. This fight is going to be calculated. It's going to be a chess match. They're going to be sharp in there. They're going to be picking their shots, and it's not going to be a lot of them significant shots landed, in my personal opinion. But that 45.5, I think it was 45.5, was fucking me up. Now, if it was 49.5, like Miranda, I would have been all over it for the less, because I feel like, I'm talking about, neither one of them might necessarily land, 50 significant strikes. They might both be around, 70 strikes. I'm talking about landed total with around 30-something, 40-something significant strikes total, out of maybe 120-something strikes total thrown. You feel what I'm saying to you? Like, they might be around 100-something thrown with like around between 70 and 80-something landed and between 30 and 40-something significant on both sides, in my personal opinion. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, man. I went too far off on something that I ain't even got no action on. Huh? My bad, y'all. I was just fucking rambling because I wanted action on that motherfucker. And I was really trying to rack them up. They stopped me at 6. I kind of got mad about that. Prize pick stopped me at 6. Talking about 6 is the max 20. I mean, I get it. You giving me 25 times my money. But I was trying, I guess I was trying to be greedy because I felt like I could have put 8 of them together. You know what I'm talking about? Huh? But they not trying to give a motherfucker 75 times his money. So I can dig it. You know what I mean? I guess, if you want to rack them for that, you just got to get a solid 5 at 15 times your money, or a solid 6 at 25 times your money. And, just go heavy on that motherfucker. Because they not trying to get at, 7th and 8th and 9th and 10th leg up on Prize Picks, but rightfully so. I can dig it, man. You know what I'm talking about? But I like who I like, man. I like who I like. There's a couple other ones I like, man. I like Joel Alvarez more than 39.5, just because just about everything Joel Alvarez throws is a significant shot, man. He can fucking crack. He has pop in each and every one of his individual shots. And outside of, you know, knocking Jakar Close out in the first 7 minutes, or cracking him so hard that he shoots in and, you know, Joel just snatches up something for a submission, or cracking him so hard that Joel hops on him for the club and sub type situation for the submission. Outside of those outcomes, which are very much a possibility when you're in there with Joel Alvarez. You understand what I'm saying to you, man? But outside of that happening, if we get, you know, 5 minutes, 6, 7, 8 minutes of this fight, if this fight makes it to the 3rd round, Joel Alvarez will have landed more than 39.5 significant strikes. You understand what I'm saying to you? Because after he gets off that, just about everything he's smacking with is significant, man. You know what I'm talking about? His kicking game, his hands, you know what I'm talking about? The boy's dangerous, man. So I like Joel Alvarez over 39.5 to a certain extent, though, because I know how dangerous that young man is, man, and he might get Jakar Close the fuck up out of there. Ain't Jakar Close, with all due respect, didn't Jakar Close, you know, when he banging out on Beneil, and Beneil ate all that shit and then boop bow bipped him and crumbled him the fuck up? Like, that was a good comeback. That was Beneil Dariush and Jakar Close, wasn't it? Am I not fucking mistaken? I might be mistaken, and you can check me in the comments. You know what I'm talking about? I believe that was Jakar Close in there with Beneil Dariush, and he was cracking on that motherfucker, boy. But when he got cracked back, boop bow bip, bung bung, it was over for him, man. You know what I'm talking about? He couldn't take it the same. You don't want to be in there with Joe Alvarez if you can't take it the same. You know what I'm talking about? Because he can take a shot. You know what I mean? He can take a shot. Motherfuckers, if anybody want to talk about, oh, well, he was KO'd by motherfucking Armin, you better go back and watch that motherfucking fight, man. Joe Alvarez is very comfortable and very confident in his guard. Jakar is no Armin. And when they went down to the ground and Joe pulled guard, he ate. I said out. He ate. I tried to say eat and elbow at the same time. He ate a vicious ass elbow that just sliced him wide the fuck open, and the doctors had to stop that shit. Not because he didn't want to fight, not because he was KO'd, he was stiffened up, starched up, inconscious, or unintentionally defended himself. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, not, I said unintentionally defended himself. Unintelligently defended himself. You understand what I'm saying to you? None of that. It was, you know, it was a doctor stoppage, and salute to Armin for that. You know what I mean? But, I'm not worried about that here with Jakar. With Jakar Close, man. I think Jakar Close gets knocked the fuck out, and that's the only reason I'm not having action on that 39.5 significant strikes by Joe Alvarez, because Joe Alvarez doesn't need to catch you with 39.5 significant strikes to knock you the fuck out. You know what I mean? It's like when Ikram was fighting Bobby Knuckles, man, and you look at the stats, and it was like Ikram's getting hit about, it was like 4 or 5 or 5 or 6 times on average per minute. You know what I'm talking about? You might not be able to be in a cage with Bobby Knuckles for 1 or 2 minutes if you getting hit 5 or 6 times on average per minute. You know what I'm talking about? Because this motherfucker hit you that many times, you're going to fucking sleep. And we saw what happened. Like, that's how I feel about Joe Alvarez. Like, if you're in there at Jakar Close and you're getting hit with 3 or 4 or however many significant strikes on average per minute, then you might not necessarily last more than a couple minutes with motherfucking Joe Alvarez. You know what I'm talking about? That's the only reason I don't have action on that one, man. You know what I mean? But when we talking about ones that I really like I can't get behind the Mike, anything about the Michael Johnson and the Ottman fight as far as significant strikes. I can't get behind that, or fight time, or any of it. I can't get behind any of that, because either one of those motherfuckers might knock the other out, like, in the first 60 seconds, man. In the first exchange, somebody might get knocked the fuck out and disconnected from their consciousness, starched and stiffened up, submitted. Anything might happen in that matchup in the first fucking minute. You know what I'm talking about? So I can't be on that one. I can't be on Buckley. I can't be on Buckley and Covington, because Buckley can fucking crack. Covington's durable, but Buckley can fucking crack. And if Buckley gets the landing, if Buckley goes out there and does what he wants to do, I don't see this one going a distance. I don't see him landing that many significant shots. I see him getting him up out of there. You know what I'm talking about? Now, maybe if it gets drug out and it goes 25 minutes, and that might possibly mean that Kobe's winning this motherfucker via decision, then maybe we could talk about, you know, 72 or whatever the significant strike count was for Buckley. I'm not as comfortable with that as I am for 72.5 over the course of 15 minutes with Sean. You know what I'm talking about? Because Sean and Fernando, they gonna get in there and they gonna crack. You know what I'm talking about? That volume's gonna be out there. They gonna be playing pity pat and sitting down on they, you know what I mean, on the shots that they sit down on. They gonna be kicking at the legs, kicking at the body. They gonna be going after it, man. You know what I'm talking about? And I like Sean at 72.5 more than I like Buckley at 72.5 over the course of 25, man. There's not too many fights that Sean's been in where his motherfucking significant strikes aren't up there damn near with his regular strikes. You know what I'm talking about? Like, he puts out a decent volume. They both do, you know what I mean? And I think that one's going to go to full 15 minutes. I think that one's going to be fight of the night. I don't think we're going to get it finished. So I'm solid with that 72.5, man. But it is what it is, you know what I mean? I'm just rambling now. I'm going to fire this motherfucker up and burn it back down, tap out, and get out y'all motherfucking ear. You know what I'm talking about? But, for what it's worth, man, I really, really, really do like Josephine 60.5 significant strikes to be more. You know what I'm talking about? And I really, really, really do like Miranda Maverick 49.5 significant strikes to be less. As well as I really, really like Miranda Maverick 2.5 takedowns to be less. You understand what I'm saying to you? I really like those motherfuckers, man. You know what I'm talking about? And I really, really, really do like Marcos 12.5 minutes of fighting time against Giannis to be more. I think that one's going to a decision. I think that one's going to be, you know, in the contention for fight of the night. They're both going to have their moments. It's going to go back and forth. I think if Giannis wins it and cashes with the dog tag next to his name, he's going to do so via, you know, a decision, man. I don't think he's going to clip him and get him out of there like I said before, man. So I really like that, man. I really like that play, and I really like Sterling 8.5 minutes of fighting time to be less. You know what I'm talking about? As well as I like Sean Woodson 72.5 significant strikes to be more. You know what I mean? That Philippe Lima 45.5 significant strikes to be more or less is just, that's choppy. That's choppy for me, because I think those individuals, both of them, are going to, you know, throw upwards of 100 or more than 100 strikes and, you know, land somewhere in the 70 to 80 range and land somewhere in the significant range of 30 to 40s. You know what I mean? But 46, 47, 48, maybe 49. I just don't think they're going to crack into the 50s. I would have been solid with that 49.5 significant strikes for Philippe Lima to be less than 49.5, but that 45.5, something just don't sit right with me. You know what I mean? I don't know. Something don't sit right with me. Not for the under, not for the over. It just don't sit right with me. That number just don't sit right with me. I don't like that fucking number. You know what I'm talking about? So I left that number alone. I left Mike's number alone, because who knows how that fight's going to go with Ottman. Buckley's fight alone. You know what I'm talking about? It's a lot of these. Joe's fight 39.5. If Joe doesn't get him the fuck out of there in the first 7 minutes, that's going to be good. But that's a big fucking if. You know what I'm talking about? And it is what it is, man. I looked at some of them other Johns, and I just, you know, the matchups, I wasn't Manel Kopp versus Bruno. I think it's going to be a lot of pity-pat going on out there, you know what I mean? It's going to be a chess match. It's going to be a lot of, you know, calculated moves. And I don't necessarily believe there's going to be a lot of significant shots landed. While there may be some volume, decent volume landed, I don't believe there's going to be a lot of significant shots landed. Yeah, I'm talking about. So it is what it is, man. And Billy Q on takedowns, I'm not going for that. I'm not playing that game. You know what I'm talking about? Because who knows that Billy's going to want to shoot for any takedowns. the submission threat is absolutely a threat on Cub Swanson's side of things if you want to shoot in on him, especially if you want to shoot on him. He's a front choke guillotine. I mean, he'll grab you up and it's all types of ties and chokes he'll put on your motherfucking neck if you try to come in there all crazy. You know what I'm talking about? And disrespect his guard in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So he might pull guard and give you the takedown. You understand what I'm saying to you? Maybe he stuffs it, you know what I mean, and wants to keep it upright. Who the fuck knows, man? I'm just not comfortable with no Billy Q takedowns. You know what I'm talking about? The Miranda Maverick, I'm cool with the under 2.5. Who else was on there? Oh, Vitor. Yeah, I'm not comfortable on that neither. I'm not comfortable on the Vitor takedowns against Jacoby, because who the fuck knows, man? Who the fuck knows how that one's gonna go? You know what I'm talking about? Maybe he clips him. Maybe he takes him down and submits him. Who the fuck knows how that one's gonna go? You know what I mean? So it is what it is, and that's why I'm at where I'm at. I appreciate y'all for tapping in for what it's worth. Peace and blessings.